So what happens every time I want to film is that my cat decides to get exactly where I need to be, because in this video I'm going on my laptop, but the cat is on the laptop right now. Aren't you, Lynx? Yeah. Oh, he's moved now because I've grassed on him. Let's get to the video, shall we? So, my idea for today's video is a little different to things that I normally do. I don't normally have, well, I sometimes have screen recordings of my tablet and stuff, but I thought I'd do some memes, like react to some Bookish memes, because they make us all laugh. They're so relatable at times, and so, we just like to see them. So I thought I'd react to some because I haven't looked at any for a long while. See what there is, all that good stuff. So I'll hit screen record, and I'm gonna look on Pinterest because I don't tell me where to look for memes because I don't actually know. So I've gone on Pinterest and just typed in bookish memes to see what comes up. So we'll see what the first one is. And everything's going wrong in this video because my dad just phoned me in the middle of me recording as well. So as I was reading, it was like, when you finish a book in real life, you live in the real world and not the book's world. It isn't fair. No, it's not fair. So many times I've wanted to just be in that book world. But at the same time, I'm not always sure about this meme because I wouldn't want to live in like the Game of Thrones world or anything like that. Just absolutely not. So sometimes this is right, sometimes not so much. How to seduce me. Take me to the bookstore and leave me there for hours. Pretty much, yeah. Can't go wrong with that. When you only got 3 hours of sleep, but it's not a total loss because you got a lot of reading done. Yeah. I mean, I relate to this because if I'm like about 100 pages from the end of the book, a lot of the time I will just finish the book and I don't care what time it is. And I'm kind of cursed with that because I actually will, like, if I'm 100 pages away from the end, I'm just like, yeah, I can read that in no time, even if it ends up taking me hours. And I'm there at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, yeah, I need to go to sleep now. And I'm just there, like, 2 more pages. So I definitely fall under this. It's not nice for me in the morning, let's just say that. I have to stop buying books. Oh, look, a bookstore. It's even worse now with the internet where you can just literally click on Amazon or on Discord when people share deals and they're like, oh, more 99p Kindle books, and it's a book you've really been wanting for a while. So yeah, I tell myself this all the time. I need to stop buying books. I'm not going to buy any books this month. And then all of a sudden there's just magically books that I don't know where they've come from all of a sudden. Like, they've just appeared. I mean, I didn't buy them. Knowing what happens in a book that someone else is reading. I am very, very guilty of this. Like, I love being part of the book community and Discord communities because when other people are reading books that I love, I'm just there watching their every written reaction, and I get really, really, really excited about what's coming. Like when somebody was reading Gideon and they were reading like the first section and they were starting to like certain characters, I was just like keeping my mouth zipped, waiting for reactions. Yeah. If you know, you know. When you make a literary reference that no one else seems to get. Mental self 5. Yeah. I've done this. Absolutely. It's not fair that us readers don't get many reader friends, like, just in normal everyday life. The only time I can do this is if there's like a book that me and my partner have both read, which is rare. Like, we've both read Gideon, we've both read some books. I can't even remember because he doesn't read that much. Like, we can probably do this more with comics, because he's a bigger comic reader than me. I've read some of the same as him, so it's kind of switched when it comes to that. But I can also do this with like sort of truth references with my family, but it's been a while since they've read them, so sometimes it's still like mental self 5. Oh. Yeah. These are so relatable. Me at my bookmark, when it falls out and I lose the page, you had one job. Just the one. This actually happened to me yesterday, and it was such a good job that I was reading the audiobook as well, because then I also had to do was look on script and see which chapter I was on. Luckily, because a lot of the time I don't keep a mental note on what chapter I'm on, and it's really frustrating when that bookmark falls out and you have to figure out where you were, especially if you're like in the middle of the book somewhere, so you literally have no idea. Ugh, it takes ages to find that page again. Like, I know somebody who always, like, they don't need a bookmark. They literally can open their book to where they were, close it with no indication of where they were, put it down, come back to it hours later and just open it again and keep reading. And my brain doesn't remember it that well. So good for them that they can do it, but I really can't. Bookish problem 444. I don't know if there's actually like a massive load of these memes that are actually numbered, like 1 through whatever it goes up to, but you have a book, but you're nearly finished reading it, so you have to bring a second one just in case. I've done this a couple times, but what I tend to do nowadays is have one ready on my Kindle. If I've nearly finished the book that's in my bag, then if I read that while I'm out and about, I'll just start the one that's on my Kindle instead, because then it's taking up less space and it's less heavy. But I have done this. I absolutely have done this. I'm pretty sure I took books to the hospital with me when I was going to go into labour. But then I was in too much pain to concentrate on the books because I was induced and I had to wait a long time. But I was already in a lot of pain, so I couldn't focus on my books, which was really annoying. But yeah, I just ended up taking the books home with me, and I hadn't read any of them. So yeah, definitely I've taken more than one book out with me many times. Friend, you have a book problem. Me, storage. I have a book storage problem. I don't currently, but I did, and I was like stacking books everywhere until I got these shelves. And it probably won't be long until I have a book storage problem again, because as soon as you have space on your shelves, you just want to fill them in again. Like, when you see space on your shelves, it feels like you don't have enough books. I don't know if you have that problem too, but I definitely do. Dear fictional characters, I hope you appreciate what I go through for you. Yes. I hope they do appreciate what I go through for them, because I sit and I cry and I scream and I laugh and I have all of the emotions for them, and they're fictional and they don't even know I exist. Which makes me sad even now, just thinking about the fact that they don't know I exist. Because I'm in love with some of them. When I finish a really good book and can't move on. Yes. I think I had this when I finished Gideon the Ninth. I also had this when I finished The Sword of Kaigan, which the ending wasn't great, but the book itself just had a hold of me and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm pretty sure I also had this with Kings of the Wild and Bloody Rose, because I think it's just those books that stay with you and stick in your head. I think I'm currently going through this with Senliness Ends. Like, it was so good. And I am reading other books, but I can't stop thinking about Senliness Ends. So it's a very good sign. It's a good sign of a good book. Even if it leaves you dead and wanting inside. When someone asks me why I love to read so much, the human world, it's a mess. 100%. I read for escapism, absolutely. So the human world is a mess. let's read about some other messy characters and messy worlds and just escape this one for a little while, huh? Yeah, sounds good to me. Same reason that other people watch TV a lot of like fictional TV shows. It's the same, similar idea. When you're reading a book and get to the part where the title starts to make sense. Yes. I love title drops in books, and I don't know why it's so satisfying, but it really, really is. Like, if the title is said in the book, you're just like, yes. And then, or if the title starts to make sense. Like, I Am Widow, I was reading, and I was like, oh, what does I Am Widow mean? And then they mentioned what it was, and I was like, oh, yes, that's why it's so integral to the plot. So, yeah, absolutely experience this one. Also, David Tennant's face. He's so expressive, and I love it. Warning! Do not disturb the book reader. Serious injury or death may occur. Just because I don't hurt people doesn't mean I don't think about hurting people when they disturb me when I'm reading. And I know I've had so many people on YouTube say, oh, but you're so soft spoken. It's really weird when you say these things. But, like, I'm a person. And my brain goes to dark places when I'm annoyed. And when I'm trying to read and I'm really, really into the book, I'm sure a lot of you can, like, sympathize with this situation. And people just won't stop talking to you when you're clearly busy doing something. You're just like, leave me alone. I want to attack you if you keep talking to me. It's so annoying. Like, my partner has gotten a lot better at it because I just give him this look like I am reading. I don't even have to say a word. He's just like, okay, I'll leave you alone now, which is great because I just want to read. It's my life. I just want to do it forever. So my brain at least goes to this place. I know I don't hurt people, but when a book ends in a huge cliffhanger, hello, darkness, my old friend. You just want to get to the next book. But then when you're like me and have like set TBRs every month, you're like, I've got to wait a whole other month to read that book. And then it's like this right now, Senlin Ascends. I can't stop thinking about it, and I really want to read Arm of the Sphinx, but I've got to wait till next month at least to read it. So it's just gonna have to stay in my head for this month until I get to it. But yeah, it's even worse when the next book isn't out until like another year or so. I hate it. Why do I ever start books where the series isn't out yet? I don't know why I do that to myself, but I do it all of the time. Mostly for book clubs. Or just because I'm excited about it, and then I end up being like, yeah. So, next one. Friend, why read a book when you can just watch the movie? Me, why breathe air when you're gonna die anyway? This is like, hi. Yeah, this is my sense of humour. I would die. Exactly. And I love, like, Jennifer Lawrence just there, like. Yeah, I 100% agree with this. I love watching the movies, whether they end up being good or not. Yeah. But I like having the experience of having read the book and then seeing the movie, and it's like, oh, I've seen this scene somewhere before. In my head. And I love when movies get it so accurate that it is like deja vu when you watch in the movie, even though you've never seen it before. I love it. But yes, read the books. They're like 99.9% always better. I can name off the top of my head right now, I can only name one book where the movie was better, and that was Stardust. I feel like the movie was done a bit better than the book, personally. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but that's how I see it. But yes, definitely. Normally, the book is better, and there's just you just think like iceberg. The top of the iceberg is the movie, and then underneath that big massive iceberg underneath is the book, and you just miss out on so much when you don't read the book. Apparently me reacting to memes is just ranting about what people say and do. But that's fine, that's fair. There are two kinds of people. People who use bookmarks and monsters. I used to agree with this, but I'm starting to realise, or I've started to realise, that if you've bought a book, then at the end of the day you can do whatever you want to it. I mean, I don't like when people damage like limited edition books, or the really, really, really pretty ones. But a lot of people I know buy 2 copies of a book and do like a wreck this book where they can make all the notes they want in there. And I would love to do that with a few books actually. So yeah, I don't really agree with this anymore. Like, you do whatever you want to your own books, just don't do it to mine. Ask me permission if you're going to do something. Use a bookmark in my books. If you have the wonderful privilege of even having access to my books, because they're my babies and I love them. But please don't destroy mine. Do whatever you want to your own, though. They're your books. When adults say things like, does anyone from this generation read anymore? Hi. Yes, they do. You just have to find us. We're all introverts and hiding. That's why. Not all of us. A lot of people who read aren't introverts, but a good portion of us are. And you just have to look for us and then leave us alone because we're reading. So that's why you can't find us, because we're all inside reading and enjoying our books. All the ones outside of, yeah, got lives outside of books. I don't know. Oh, I've seen this one so many times. Ideally, keep less than 30 books, like, on the nightstand. Like, there's no way I could choose 30 books to just keep in my house. If I had to, I would be breaking my heart. I wouldn't, like, my books are my babies, I couldn't get rid of them. Like, the only ones I can get rid of are the ones that I don't really like that much, and that's fair enough, but there are more than 30 books that I would fight you for. Like, I want to keep them, they're mine. Don't tell me not to keep them. But they spark joy with me, so she can't make me get rid of them anyway. Me, I'm going to finish that book today. Mum, it's 600 pages and you've only just bought it. You underestimate my power. Yeah. If somebody challenges me like that, I'm really stubborn. Like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm really, really stubborn. So if somebody turns around and is like, you can't finish that book in the amount of time that you've said you're going to finish it, I'll just be like, is that a challenge? Because I'm going to do that now. Like, if somebody tells me I can't do something, I get really, really stubborn about it, because I think I've just been told too many times that I can't do things because people underestimate me. They think I'm weak and wimpy and all that kind of stuff, and I get underestimated a lot, and it's made me very stubborn. Like, I don't like challenges where it's like, do this because we want you to do it, but like, I don't like people underestimating me. It's not very nice. It's a horrible feeling. So, I contain a whole world of imagination. I contain 1,000 worlds of imagination. I also smell nice. Yes. I love Kindles, and they do have lots of books, and they're really good because you can get all the cheap books and all that kind of stuff. But you can't beat a real book. I mean, it's great that we have the technology to be able to hold all of those books in one place and make it lightweight, and I love my Kindle and I use it a lot, but I love, there's nothing better for me than to just curl up with my book, be nice and warm, and just lose myself in there, because I feel like there's nothing better in the world. I love reading. As most of you will too, because you're watching this video. If you don't like reading, then why are you here? When someone takes the last book in the bookstore, me, come back, give me my book. I would be very, very, very upset. I'm not sure if it'd end up in, is this like Hunger Games or something? Something like that. I don't think it'd end up in this situation, but I would be very sad. What it looks like I'm doing. Just sitting and reading. What I'm really doing, yes. Yes, that 100%. I do everything the character does. Like in my head, I feel like I'm them, or at least watching them in some way. Like, yeah, what's everybody else sees and what I see when I'm reading are two totally different things. But when a person's reading, that's what's really going on inside their head. They are adventuring and doing all the things that the characters are doing, and it's great. Or they're just screaming at characters because they're making really bad decisions, because I do that all the time. I'm going to make this one my last one for this video because we're running a bit longer than I thought I would. How I act when I get a new book. I'm going on an adventure. Thing is, when I get a new book, it just tends to go on my shelf. Unless it's something I'm really, really, really excited to read right now, it tends to just go on my shelf for a while. I will eventually go on that adventure, but I'll always go on adventures when I'm reading anyway, because that's just what I do. So thank you so much everybody for watching this video. I really enjoyed this one, so hopefully I'll get to make more. I see why people do meme reaction videos, because they're just so great to react to. So thank you all so much for watching, so much for going along on this adventure with me, and I will see you guys in my next video. TTFN, bye bye now!